Okay, chickens, can you see me? I presume the answer is yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I just want to remind you what we were doing yesterday, and then I will go through all your homework. If you remember, I said to you yesterday, remember we're doing the circle Euclidean geometry, which is a very big section of your paper too. If they give you the diameter. Now, there's various ways they could do that. They could say, given O is of circle, and then they name it ABC. And by doing that, O is center. By calling the circle by the 3 points that lie on the circumference, so they are concyclic, we know that therefore that has to be a diameter, because then there has to be a chord and there's the center. But you normally find they actually spell it out. AB is a diameter. I mean, we can see it's a diameter, so you'll very often see that. Now, the minute they tell you you have a diameter, put your one finger on the one end of that diameter, the other there, go along the perimeter of the triangle, and don't stop till you get to the circumference. You will now know that that angle is 90 degrees. So you will tell your examiner, C, remember, always put hats on angles. C is 90 degrees. And remember, the reason you say angle in semicircle. Okay. Don't invent your own reasons for this section. I told you they're very strict. I just wanted to show you the converse. If, for example, you get a diagram and they give you the 90. So let's say given angle B is equals to 90 degrees. Therefore, my conclusion, AC is the diameter. And your reason, you must write converse angle in semicircle. Because sometimes they might say, prove that AC is the diameter. And if they asked you to prove it, and somehow you can get that to be a 90, and then you could see that chord is obtaining 90 in circumference, then that chord has to be the diameter, which means it's passing somewhere through the center. Okay, so that's all in your textbook. Hopefully you might have read that, because some of you are definitely working harder than others. Okay, I'm not dissing anybody, I'm just stating a fact. Some people are really working hard, I know it. All righty, so let's do your homework. You might have marked it from the back, but I've got a feeling, I don't know if they're putting in the reasons, and that worries me. So I'd like to just do them. They're all very easy examples. And then I gave you one slightly harder. And then once we finish this whole section, we will then eventually work with as hard as you can get. But there's still quite a bit more to learn. Okay, so the first homework, I gave you that one, and that one. Okay, let me draw a circle. First one was ridiculously easy. In fact, I'm going to draw two at a time because I think it's going to go very fast, especially the first two. Okay. So we're working, in case you've forgotten, we're working on page 18 from your textbook. Okay, which is the mind action series. All right, so the first one, they just drew us there. They drew a line like so. They did this. They did this. Wait, let's try and draw that chord. There we go. All right, then, so this is number A. So this point here on the circumference P, this point is on the circumference Q, circumference R, and please take note, look, given O is, in this example, you can just assume these are definitely on the circumference, all right? But I'm going to be better than the book and say of circle PQR. Now there's no doubt at all. Okay, now they've given you also this 53. Is someone me? No. So they've given me in the given angle P equals to 50. What I did there, nearly was dyslexic. 53 degrees, and they made RX. And the question is solve for X. Now, watch very carefully how we're going to do this. I'll just write here. I'll change the color of my pen. Remember, okay, just ignore this circle. Just pretend it's not there. Just take it away. Remember, if you get used to, like you did geometry in grade 8, 9, and 10, it's always advisable, so you don't forget, that is your statement column. And this is your reason column, and you always need a reason, unless you're just tying up logic. Okay, so because you see that you have the diameter, what have I learned? I know that that angle is 90. So you will say to your examiner, angle Q is 90 degrees. You've got a whole mark. Your reason, you say angle in semicircle. You got another whole mark. 2 whole marks out of 3. All right. Now we know, we've done this since we were lighties, that since grade 8, that the 3 interior angles of any triangle degree add up to 180 degrees. So I'm just going to quickly use my Casio. X therefore would have to be 37 degrees. Reason sum angles triangle. Okay, I'll just double check that. So I'm sure I'm right. 37 plus 53 equals 90 plus 9. Okay, now that is a reason you learned in grade 8, and that is why there is only 1 mark for statement and reason. If you just say X is 37 degrees and you don't give the reason, you will not get that mark. All right? So remember, if any of your reasons are reasons you learned in grade 8, 9, or 10, 1 mark statement and reason. If it's the new stuff that I'm teaching you on Zoom, okay, then it's 1 mark for statement and 1 for reason most of the time. A few times there's exceptions to that. Okay, so we know we're working from our textbook. I'll just take that away. Let's look at the next question. All right, I'll go faster now. And what I'll just do is, I think this is a clever idea. I can just keep that there and that there. And then I just have to put in the diagram. Okay, so the next circle, they gave me a circle. Okay, then what did they do? They said, O is center. The minute, you can actually, when I'm actually drawing it in front of you, you can actually see the whole thing coming together, because now you see that's a diameter. Okay, I always look for diameters. All right, and then I see a triangle. I can so see where this is going. And then last but not least, that was B. And from O, we've got a radius. Look, radius. Do you see the radius? Okay, we've got a radius. So that's a radius, that's a radius, that's a radius. As long as I tell you, obviously, O is center of the circle. And I'm just being thorough, ABC. Okay. Now, they also told us that this is 52 degrees there, and they made that X. Now, this question is only going to be 2 marks. Okay. What do we know? Okay, you absolutely know that this is 90 degrees, right? So you could even go straight into X if you would like to. But what I normally do is I still tell my examiner that angle, now you'd have to know angle ABC. You can't just say angle B, because if you look carefully, do you see that they are now, we've split angle B into two pieces. Okay, now we know they add up to 90, so therefore it would be 48. I'm more than certain. 90 minus 52, 38. Just as well I check that. All right, so I'm going to tell them first that this whole angle is 90 degrees. Why? And then you go angle in semicircle, and therefore degree X will just be the difference. So that is 38 degrees. Now, the actual mark would be there. So you'll often see some students just go, because they say X is 38, with the reason, we can have an examiner conclude that you knew that that was 90. But I told you, I'm a bit of an OCD person, obsessive compulsive disorder, to the point where I put that in alphabetical order. So I'm a CDO person. So I kind of like to put everything. All right, but luckily I still finish my exams because I write fast. Okay, so learn choppies, we've done 2 of the 4. Let's just quickly, they started to get a little bit harder. I noticed my number C is cut out of the diagram. So I must just refer back to my textbook. Let's see if I can keep the circle. Every time I do this, I'm getting more intelligent. I hope you notice. Okay, this is exactly how progress is made. You start seeing clever new ways to go faster. Okay, there's my circle. All right, they've put in, it looks like there's the picture, the diameter, because they're telling me O is center. So I'm going to just draw that in. I'll try and match it up to that dot. I'll use the dot. Yes. Okay, so that point is A, and there on my circumference, that's the bit that got cut off, is C. Then they went from the center to a point there which is cut off, but that point there is B, there on the circumference, and then they joined up. So do you agree AB is a chord? Now, before we do anything, I just want to remind you, the minute you get given O is center and you see this kind of a triangle, remember these base angles will always be equal because angles opposite equal radii. So always look for radii and angles opposite equal radii, okay? We're probably going to use that information. And then they just, I think they joined that up. Yeah, that's the bit got cut off. So they joined that up. And then what they would normally do in exam is they call that like B1, B2. I'm going to do that. But here it's just X and Y. Any other information? Yes. 104 degrees. Okay, so guys, we've got to get a plan going. Now, we know exactly what I've just said, that these 2 angles will be equal. So this angle will also be X. So the first thing I'm going to tell my examiners, angle A will equals to angle B1, be very specific, not angle B, B1, which will be X, because they gave us, remember, given, if you remember, B1 was X. You don't have to write your given, all right, because you were given it. Now, the reason, you've got to get the right reason, you go angles opposite equal radii. Right, now that would probably be 1 mark. So now, because we know the 3 interior angles of any triangle add up to 180, then all you do is take your calculator, take 180, then subtract the angle you were given, which is 104, and then you're left with the difference, which is 76. So if you divide that exactly by 2, then this would be 38 degrees, and that would be 38. Okay, so therefore X is 38. Now, there is a reason. How did I know that? Because of some angles triangle. So in other words, you've got to stop yourself from not giving a reason. You know, it would have been very easy to have given that and then the answer and move on, all right? But you've got to understand, how did I know to take 180 minus 104, then divide it by 2. It's because of that. So you've got to just always think, whatever your brain is doing, you must remember to tell us why. A lot of matrics will go literally x equals to 38, some angles. They've lost that mark because they know that that is equals, but they forget to write it up. And that's what I'm trying to say. Now, that's a hell of a mess, but I'm trying to encourage you to make the section as it gets a little bit harder, easy, and it is easy if you listen to what I say, then as you find any angle, you must put it in your diagram. So I'm just going to go over that, okay? So I've put it in my diagram. Now, look, check that. We've got the diameter, all right, because O is the center, and take that, aha. So do you see these two angles there add up to 90? So let's tell our examiner that. So you can go like this. Look, B1 plus B2, we know it equals to 90 degrees. Why? Angle in semicircle. Now, guess what? That would be 1, 1, lekker, okay? And if that's 38, then B2, I can get my answer. So if I just go 90 minus 38, I just want to make sure I don't do something stupid. It is 52 degrees, all right? Now, B2 is Y, so Y is therefore 52. Okay, they wanted, what is Y? You might find that that is all just 1 mark for that and that. Okay, so that would have been a 4-mark question. Okay, so that was quite fun. You see what I'm saying? I want actually, I want feedback after this lesson. I want to know, aren't you finding the section fun? You were all dreading geometry. I remember Nelly saying, oh, no, geometry. But I mean, it's actually a lot of fun. I think this is such fun. I love circles. Okay, as I said, circles have such good connotations. They really do. Think of money. A 5 rand coin is a circle. If you had 1 million of those, you'd be rich. Am I right? Yes. I feel like I'm talking to myself. It's funny teaching on a Zoom. Alrighty, now let's do the last one. There's a lot of more lines going on here, so let me get my plate, draw my circle, put my glasses on. Okay, so there is my, circle. Got it? Then, you see, as I draw it slowly, you'll start seeing, look, there is the diameter. I can already see it. Remember, given O is center. All right. Then they took a chord from there to there. Then they took a chord from there to there. Then they took a chord from there to there. Oh. And then they joined another chord. A lot of chords in this. Let's just put the letterage so far. There's probably still stuff missing, but that's D, that's A. So now I notice that they joined, aha. Now as I'm doing it, you'll see that is a radius, okay? So I'm already seeing radius, so we already know those two angles will be equal. And we can already know that those two angles will be equal. That's what I like to do. I like to kind of ask, I like to check things out. I see my diameter, so I already know that that's 90. So you see, I haven't even I haven't even what they want me to find, what information they gave me. I just made notes to myself. So they gave me that that is 60. All right, that was given. So let's call that O1. This is O2. And if we need this whole angle O3, okay? They've called this, look, A1. They've called this A2. Now remember, they did not give me that 90. I deduced that, okay? And this is X. This is Y. That's 22 degrees. Let's call that D1 and D2. And this want me to get Now, let's just quickly look at this. Okay, straight away, I see the isosceles triangle. That's how I'm going to get x. But remember, you've got to tell them first, A2 will equals, okay, it helps very much if I put this point on. This is B. This is C, D. Okay, so tell them first that A2 equals to angle, I'm going to call this, I know they didn't call it anything, but I'm going to call it B1, let's say, which is X, Y, angles opposite equal radii. One more. Okay, then we know that the angles have to add up to 180. So you can go 180 minus the 60. Now, if these two angles have to be the same, and that's already 60, then I can already tell that it would have to be 60, okay? Because if you take 180 minus 60, you get 120 divided by 2 is 60. So x is therefore 60 degrees. But how do I know that? Well, it's actually because of some angles triangle. Now, Mr. December and I, in particular, we very, like, if there's a lot of triangles, and there actually are quite a few triangles in this diagram, I'm seeing quite a few, we often will refer to some angles triangle OAB. Because in the old days of higher grade, we had to acknowledge which triangle we were talking about. Okay, so I've got X. But remember, what did I say to you? When you find something, put it in your diagram. Okay, so we know that that is 60, and we know that A2 is 60, from there to there. All right, so now to get Y, let's look at what we have. Okay, do you see the diameter? Now, if we have a diameter, do you all agree that this angle here is going to be 90 degrees, not just this angle? Okay, and we're looking actually at this triangle now. Do you look carefully? Okay, because we will tell the examiner that angle C, we know is 90 degrees, and the reason being angle in semicircle, and therefore, if we've been given this angle, which is 22, and that's 90, then we can go y equals 2. So I'm just going to go 90 minus 22, and we will get it's 68. And there is some angles triangle, but this time triangle BDC. Now you will notice, you might, like in grade 8, have to say, you know, D2 is 22 given, therefore, you very rarely get the marks for given. Sometimes you do need to state it, but in that example, the mark allocation would be 1, 1, 1, statement reason. Okay, here, statement reason. Here, statement reason. Okay, so now remember, we've got Y, so let's put it in our diagram, so that's 68 degrees, all right? And the next and last thing is, I suppose they want us to get A, right? Let's quickly look. If this is 90 degrees, does everybody agree this would therefore be 30 degrees because that is 60? So A1 would equals to 30 degrees. You can just go angle in semicircle. In other words, to save me writing, I don't have to tell them A1 plus A2 is 90, therefore A2 is 60, therefore A1 is 30. I could, but they will know exactly how I got that. And then obviously this would be 30, all right? Then you quickly just mention that therefore A1, this angle, would equals, I'm calling that D1, equals D1, which is 30. What would my reason be? Sorry. That is angles opposite equal radii. Mark, statement and reason. And if that's 30 and that's 30, they add up to 60. So A must be 120. So A would be 120 degrees. How did I know that? Some angles, triangles.
Ma'am, what if we just said that angles on a straight line equal to 180?
Okay, hold on. Some angles, triangle, OAB. I often go the long route because I'm having such fun. Someone just said, ma'am, why don't you just go adjacent angle, straight line? I could have avoided all of that. You're well done, okay? You'll often see me go on a bit of a tangent, but that's because I'm having such fun, okay? So yeah. And can I tell you something? I'm glad we did that. Always the mark allocation for the quickest method. So in other words, to get A would have been 1 mark. So A would be 120 degrees, reason, adjacent, angles, straight line. Now that's grade 8, so that's statement reason. Now let's say I did it Mrs. Holmboe way. Then you see, we would have expected 1, 2, 3, 4 at least, but it would only be 1 mark. So if it's 1 mark, it actually would tell me that I could have, if I see the mark allocation, you can see that it's going to be quick. But even if you go the long route, what I did was 100% correct. All my reasons were there. So I would still get the 1 mark, but you would obviously know that you must be doing it a slightly long method because of the fact that I wrote so much. But yeah, I think I was just basically also illustrating how you can find every angle if you really wanted to, but don't waste time and do that. Okay, so well done for noticing the short method. Very often you can stop me and say, ma'am, there's a shorter way to do this. Because you see, this section is visual. That's why I like it. You know, some people say it's hard, and it's not hard because as you notice, sometimes there's 2 or 3 ways of getting it. And you're looking at it, and you can't even find 1 way to get it. But the most important thing is, as you find things, put it in your diagram, because it's like a jigsaw puzzle. And then the puzzle starts coming together. And then when the puzzle comes together, you see the picture. Okay, it's very visual and logic. Because remember, you've got to like say to yourself, to get this angle, I would first need to do this, and then I could grasshopper, hop, and say, then I would have to do that, and then I can get what they want. It's such a fun section. How long have I got left, chickens? Anyone? Anyone?
You've got 11 minutes.
11 minutes, ma'am.
11 minutes. Yes, that's a long time. So I can do the other homework one. Sure. Right. And you must remind me when I finish the homework one, I must give you today's life lesson quote. It's quite a good one and short. Right. If you remember, I sent a picture of that. For those who are diligent, you might have drawn it out and done it. Some actually forgot about it. I'll quickly do it now, though. What I have done for you, excuse my back, is I've blown the diagram up to as much as I can. So at least, you know, it's a bit bigger. And let me write the given, because it's very important. Oh, and that point got cut off. That point there is D. Okay, that is on the circumference. That's B, and that is A. That is O, 1 and 2. This is angle C1, C2, C3, angle B1, B2. That is a 40 degrees. Okay, when you blow something up, it gets very smudgy. So, okay, I don't know if that helps. But basically, in the given, O is center. I'm going to be an OCD now. A circumference. And angle A equals to 40 degrees, all right? I told you BO is parallel to CD. if you are given parallel lines, that is like, if I'm in an Inspector Clouseau, that's a clue. That is a clue. I will definitely be having a fun angle in this, without a doubt. And in fact, before I even read any of the questions, what does Mrs. Holmboe do? Was she born a circle genius? Absolutely not. You won't believe this, when I was in grade 11 and 12, I found this section a bit hard, because I think my teacher was a bit of an idiot. And my teacher never once said use colors. I mean, I know it's logical, but colors were so good, because I'm going to investigate this diagram before I even look at the questions. Do you notice that we've got radii there? So what I would often do is I would use a color and put a dot there and a dot there. Then I know those angles are equal. But I see another, flying pens again. I see another isosceles triangle with the equal radii. So I will do that. So that's C1 and edit. And then okay, there's definitely no diameter here. Please, guys, that's not a diameter. That's going through the center. But if you get center, one of the most things, remember how we started, I think it was the second thing we learned, that remember the angle at the center is equals to 2 times the angle at the circumference. Before I get a center, I will investigate all my chords. So if I put my one finger, that exact same chord subtends an circumference, and it subtends on the same segment. So I already know what I already know. 01 is 80. I bet you they're going to ask me that question. I don't know what they're going to ask me.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I also see an alternating angle. One.
Yes. You see, now you're starting to see. So that would definitely be equals to that. So that means that is 80 and that is 80. Well done, Tanaka. I can so see you're going to be good at this section. And you start seeing.
Ma'am, there's also another alternating angle on the top of the triangle.
Are you thinking there to there?
No, like going down that line, up and then down. Down.
I don't see another alternate angle. You see, you can't, these are not parallel. So for the alternate angle is going to, if those are parallel, there's your transversal. It's just going to be there to there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but listen, in this triangle, I know those are equal. So this would be 100 degrees split by 2. So already I know they're 50-50. So I bet you I've answered all the questions before I've even read them. But let's read the questions, because, you know, you've got to, so far I might have done the whole thing in my head, but I've got no marks. So number 1, they said, what is angle O1? Okay, so angle O1 is 80. Why? Because the angle at center equals to 2 times the angle at circumference. Now that is 2 marks. 1, 2. A lot of people don't see that. That's why I said use your fingers, okay? Right, once we've got that, fill it in. It's in. So what's the next question? You often find the questions chain. So let's see the next question. What is angle C3? C3, this angle. You see, I've just got this, so therefore that's alternate. So you see, it is there, it's like, that's what happens, okay? So now you'd have to say, okay, angle O1 equals angle C3, which equals 80 degrees. And reason, remember you go alternate angles, and then you've got to say because BO is parallel to CD. Now that's statement reason, and if you leave that out, you've lost it. All right, I put it in the diagram. So if that's 80, I know that's 80. So what is the next question? Question number 3 is, what is angle D? Oh, this is getting so ridiculously easy. Angle D equals angle C3, which is 80. See, it's a chain. We went there to there to there. Reason, angles opposite equal radii. Okay, statement, reason, and then what is angle O2? Angle O2, well, if that's 80 and 80, that's 120. So 180 minus 120 leaves me 60, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right? No one shouting. So 2 8s is 16. Wait, 80 and 80, 2 8 is 60, 70. That's not 8, 60, 60, 20. Am I right? Is it 20? Someone? You're still there?
Yes, ma'am, we're still here.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I just double checked. I find, I don't know about you, but sometimes when it's cold, my brain goes into a freeze, and you just can't add 1 plus 2, and you add plus 2. Just like when you're writing a story, and sometimes you want to say like, you sat at the table, you actually can't remember how to spell sat. You know, just stupid things. It happens to me quite a lot. It's called a brain freeze. All right, lastly, B2. Okay, where the hell is B2? B2 is there. Okay, so now listen, to get this is where you're going to lose a mark. It's 2 marks. You first got to say B2 equals to C1 plus C2. Now notice what I did there. You cannot go C1 plus 2. They do not allow that. All right? You've got to go B2 equals C1 plus C2. How do I know that? Angles opposite equal radii. And now I know that they add up to 180. So if that's 80, we're left with 100. And you divide that by 2. And that is why, therefore, B2 has to be 50. The reason it's 50 degrees is because of some angles, triangle OBC. So you see, statement, reason, statement, reason. Some of you, your brain works too fast. So you straight away can see it's 50 and you'll say it's 50 degrees, some angles, triangle, but you've left out this logical step. You see, you've got to try and slow your brain down to what did I just do? Is there a reason? Yes, there is. Because otherwise you start losing marks on reasons. And yeah, so we've basically done the homework. How many
And we
minutes
have
do I
less than a
left?
minute left.
You have less than a
Less
minute.
than a minute. Then I can read you quickly the quote.
Ma'am, it's
It
Nelly's
says-
birthday.
Is it Nelly's birthday? Well, then rather let's sing happy birthday. I'll take a photo of the quote. No homework because it's Nelly's birthday. So,
Woo!
yes, no homework. And then I'll see you tomorrow on our Zoom at 11:45, which is 11:45. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, ma'am.